Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Good Friday. Good Friday. Hope everybody had a good and blessed week. I have had a great week. So this weekend I plan on doing a little fishing. I want to shoot a video, but I don't really know what I want to shoot a video about. I do have a topic in the head to um, discuss, but first I want to go over all the rough ends about it before I get really in detail about that. And the meantime, I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about what I always talk about. To me, it's like one of the biggest things to me and big to me in fishing. The way I fish, I like to fish, and the way I was taught and learned how taught to fish. Okay, I'm gonna get everything correctly. All right. Um, the Texas rig. I know it's simple, it's basic, it's easy. Uh, and to me, it's like the all terrain of bass fishing. I mean, you can fish a Texas rig everywhere. I mean, I know I have talked about this in a later video about the Texas rig, but it's just something that I feel comfortable enough to know to discuss because I fish it a lot. Now, I do have a topic at hand to talk about is can you fish treble hook baits around grass? I'm gonna discuss that on another video. But today, I'm going to simply discuss soft plastic worms. Um, it's not a lot you can really say about a worm because everybody fishes a worm. Everybody don't know if you do know um, how to fish a worm, but if you are a beginner, I can do a video on that, how to do a Texas rig and the the way I started with a Texas rig and the rod and reel and stuff like that, equipment that I had. I started off when I started back fishing about 7, 8 years ago. For being away from it from quite some time, really didn't have the time to really fish like I want to. Still don't, but I do have more time to fish than I used to, and I enjoy it a lot. I don't really do a lot of videos on me fishing. I have a GoPro. I barely even use this. It's brand new. I just got it this last past Christmas. Um, I have used it. I don't use it a lot. Because when I go fishing, I go fishing. I don't think about filming or doing a video. I'm just going to catch fish. Um, I don't want to get too far off the video, what I want to discuss. I don't want to get too in detail about, when and where, when I started bad fishing. So let's get right into it. Anyway, I just wanted to share a couple of, some new worms. These are a finesse worm that I found on Amazon, and this company here is new. It's Charlie's Worms, and I have like 2 packs. I have ordered 2 packs of worms from this company. Again, like I said, and like I said on my videos, I'm not sponsored. I'm not looking for a sponsor. I'm just a sponsor. I'm just sharing my love for fishing. That is it. Okay. So this is a finesse worm. And what's unique about this worm? Well, I can't really tell you nothing about this worm just yet, but just yet because I just received these today through the mail, so I haven't had time to even see, to fish this worm, right? And I have the swimming worm, and this is the finesse worm. Okay, so and the style of fishing that I like to do is finesse. style fishing. It's summertime, so it's hot. A lot of times you can't catch a lot of fish, right? So why not go with the finesse worm? I mean, it's a good size worm. You know, it's a little different than your normal kind of like zoom finesse worm. To me, it looks like it's a little shorter than the zoom, and I think the tail is a lot fatter than the zoom trick worm. And this is Junebug. Junebug is my key color. I love Junebug. Junebug, green pumpkin, watermelon, watermelon red, black and blue. Those are like my basic colors. I stay within all lures, from soft plastics to hard baits, to jigs and to whatever. I make uh, my color choices very simple because, for one, if you big on color, you just gonna buy baits just cause of the color. You're not gonna buy lures just cause they can perform and catch you fish. You're just gonna like, hey, that's a cool color. Let me try it. Don't catch not one fish on it. So um, this, let me pull it back out. This worm is a finesse worm. You know, and for one, for fishermen that do know, I'm not a pro, never been heard of, okay, but I have been fishing. I say all my life. All right. Um, this is a worm that I really throw. For all this, like, I don't want to get into like water clarity. Water clarity, of course, some dark stained water June bug gonna catch you fish. But um, this worm, if they are like finicky, this is a worm I fish on a drop shot. Okay, I'm a bank fisherman, and people be like, "Oh, it's impossible to fish a drop shot off the bank." It's not. To me, drop shot is a perfect bank technique. If you're a bank fisherman and if you're not drop shotting yet, you need to start drop shotting. I mean, it flats out catch fish all year long, and it catch fish in times that fish are not biting. Okay, because with a drop shot, you can differentiate with your weights. You can use a heavier weight. You can use a lighter weight. You can use a bale weight, a cylinder weight, a ball weight. All depends. You know, um, One thing I have learned of what I fish a drop shot. A lot of people nose hook. They have the exposed hook. I mean, they hook it through the nose. Nose hook the worm. I don't really do that. I don't really do that. I Texas rig my drop shot. The reason why I Texas rig my drop shot and when I'm using a drop shot, because if you're a bank angler, you you usually are in areas that has a lot of vegetation, right? So you can't really use a technique like a drop shot around exposed vegetation unless you're in some real dense light vegetation. Oh, so what? Or whatever. But me, I Texas rig simply just like a weightless worm. You get your hook, you thread it on you line it up, you bring it back up, bring it through the worm this way, pin it up, and text pose the hook point into the worm. Now, Texas rig drop shot is going to be a little different than the nose when you nose rig it, hook it through the nose, right? Because a lot of times when you nose hook it, it's going to be more like straight a little bit. You know, a Texas rig it's not going to be as straight. It's straight. It's not going to sit like that. You know, it's going to sit more narrow. It's it's going to be something like this. So I'm just saying that just to throw that out there. But when you Texas rigging a drop shot from the bank, you usually gonna do that when you're fishing around a lot of vegetation, a lot of grass, and a lot of lakes that I fish, ponds and stuff. Excuse me, that I fish. It has it has a lot of vegetation. I fish around vegetation. So if I'm going to use this drop shot, I mean this worm on a drop shot, I'm going to use a centimeter weight, which is something like a centimeter. You know, is a round centimeter. I don't have any to display right now. I have them, but I don't have them in my possession right now. But that's the kind of weight I'm gonna use if I'm fishing around vegetation because it comes through the grass a whole lot easier. Now, one thing I have learned is I'm not going to use a real like thick line on this. 10 pound, 12 pound. I don't drop shot like that. Now, if I'm drop shopping, then if I'm using a drop shot and I'm fishing vegetation, 10 pound might be the most that I use, if not 12, if I even use it. I've been having success of fishing a drop shot around vegetation on just 8 pound tests, and it works fine with me. 8 pound fluorocarbon. Yeah, 8 pound fluorocarbon. Sometimes I use mono, you know, but a lot of the times I use fluorocarbon. You know, so and the thing between fluorocarbon and monofilament is fluorocarbon doesn't have no stretch. To me, fluorocarbon is like a braid but better. Okay, monofilament mono has stretch, which is it can be good at times to have a lot of stretch in your line. So I do use both, and I use braid, but I have a whole different category for braid when I use braid. Braid for me is frogging. That's all I do with braid is frog with. But 8 pound test is a good. It's a middle to me. For me, the way for me is a middle of the road type of line. For one, I'm not going to fish this around the real thick, heavy vegetation anyway. It's just in some scenarios that I have found that using a drop shot around that more dense, light vegetation, moderate vegetation, I have caught fish. If I'm not fishing in it around vegetation, I'm more of around grass. I'm gonna put it like that. In grass or on the edge of grass, I'm more likely gonna be fishing it out a little farther out deeper. So that with that, I still use a cylinder weight, but I might go with a ball or a bell weight because I don't know what's on the bottom. You know, um, sorry about that, my internet. So um, I'm gonna use a bell weight. For more cast. And it's like in that situation, if I'm fishing deeper, it makes sense to use a bell weight. That way, the the weight will stay on the bottom. That I still have bottom contact, so I can work my bait the correct way. In the way that I catch a fish. Usually when you use a drop shot, you can cast this side. Right, it depends on what kind of lure, what kind of worm you're using. Um, with this worm, in particular with this worm, I'm not really gonna. I'm gonna move it suddenly every now and then. When I mean move it, I might put it on the bottom, leave it alone. You know, then I might shake my rod tip, leave it alone, and then I'll wind it. Reel it in a little bit, leave it alone. I change it up. I might reel it again a little bit, leave it alone, put it a little bit, leave it alone, shake the rod tip a little bit, leave it alone. So to me, the technique of a drop shot itself just catch fish. It's slow. So in the heat of the day, this is the type of worm I fish. I had just had made a short, and I was just like asking a question like, "What are y'all top 5 baits for summertime fishing when on a real hot day?" That was just a question, you know. But me, on a real hot summer day, I'm going finesse, and there's a couple worms that I think, well, I ain't gonna say I think, that I know that can catch fish in those times, drastic moments on the lake, and it's gonna be a finesse worm. I mean, you can use the zoom trick worm or a worm something like this. So, okay, now, fathers with that, the drop shot, that'll be a worm I'll use on the drop shot. I have a bag of more. I have tons of soft plastic. Tons, and I mean tons. I got a whole bag and more soft plastic. You name it. It's in this bag. It's guaranteed. But if it ain't in this bag, it's in one of my tackle bags. If it ain't one of my tackle bags, it's in one of my plastic worm boxes. One of my boxes, tackle boxes. Um, but I have a lot. Not bragging. Trust me, the wife really don't appreciate it. And that's another thing I want to put out there. I'm getting married next shift to the woman I love. Been with for the last 5 years of my life. Done changed me, made me into a better person, brought me back to a lot of things I forgot about, which is one of them was this right here, fishing. But yeah, I have a date. Have a married date. And I'm so excited. I'm so ready to get married. It's just my time. I'm not getting no younger. I'm young, but I'm not getting any younger. So I'm just gonna say this. It's just my time, you know. And I'm loving it. I'm happy. I'm ready. I'm building for it. And I just want to congratulate myself. I just want to be. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. I just want to just forget about it. I'm happy, and I'm gonna get married to the woman that I love. Back to fishing. So, uh, I got on talking for a little bit there, but yeah. Anyway, since we was talking about worms and stuff, I know I had already talked a little bit about these worms right here. These are custom made from a guy I found off of Facebook Marketplace. S and J uh, Tackle, Arkansas. We're a long ways from Florida, but this, I discussed these in one of my last videos, but I really didn't really get into detail with it. I was just like bait worm fishing, bait worms in the summertime when it's high, when it's all that blabber, blabber, blabber. You know, blabber. You know, not really detail on no detail on it, just blabber. Well, put this down. Try to get more organized here. Oh, move my camera. Sorry. Boom. Okay. Get it back in position. Okay. Sorry. But this is another worm I'll use too on them real hot summer days. Excuse me. Not so much in even in shallow water. I use this worm. Um, I can swim it through uh, that that grass that well the pond I've been fishing here lately, it really doesn't have any vegetation in it. Yeah, so I have to really pinpoint where I want to fish certain baits, because that's what I do. I have got to the point where I scan the area before I even fish it. Then I come back and fish it, but I'm still looking for areas of a pond that I think fish might be holding up on. This particular pond doesn't really have a lot for a bass to really be on, to stage at, and it's real shallow. I mean, it's shallow. It's probably no. It's probably like 4 feet deep, maybe. So it's not a pond that really has a lot of cover, vegetation, uh, structure, anything that a bass can stage on and, ambush prey. They usually just sit in that 4 foot water range and gobble up on the bluegills will swim around in there. It's full of bluegills. I mean, so many bluegills. Now the bass should be 10 pounds, but they're not. So it does have a tree line. I ain't gonna say a tree line. It just has a overhanging tree. It has a sort of like a grass line going down the right far side of the bank, which I can just walk around the pond and cast right over there. Uh, it has a corner that holds the fish. That holds. It'll be a bass staged over there a lot because I know I don't caught that same fish 3 times already.